Another package from Japan. Yes, it's a Daihatsu Mira Avanzato TRXS R4. Project Mirabel. I have no idea what this is about because I just ordered parts for a Daihatsu, but maybe the guys at Ryu decided to include this as a little gift because I know I have a Honda Beat. Lots of genuine parts for my Daihatsu. So all these little parts relate to trying to take out some of the slop out of the gear shifter. It can be a bit tricky finding gears sometimes, so I'm hoping some of these will clean that up a bit. I searched all over online trying to find parts for this and couldn't really get them anywhere, just using the wrong search terms, I guess. Eventually I did find some parts diagrams showing all the parts, and I got all the part numbers and then contacted Ryu to see if I could actually order them directly from Daihatsu. So that was the easiest and most cost effective way of doing this. So I don't know if I'm going to need all these parts, to be honest, but I'll put in as many as I can. As you can see, they're all things like bushings or different cups. And this is obviously a spring. So I'm just going to show you the issue that I'm trying to solve. So this is it in neutral. If I put it into gear, you can see there is that much slop. The spring back to center is better from one side than the other, but generally it's not too bad to use. First to second is no problem at all. When you're going from second to third, the gate is a bit unusual and you can end up having trouble. You kind of have to shift it slowly. So I don't really know how to get all this apart. There's a screw just here and the gaiter and everything is all part of this gear knob. It's kind of weird. So I guess I'll just start exploring. That is one thing I love about Japanese 90s cars. They're just so easy to work on. Everything here looks pretty accessible. I think that's that spring there. One second. You see that? There's the shifter cables here. And there's another bushing down here, I think. So next step is to start opening up some of these packages and figure out where everything goes. One thing I am going to record here is how quickly this returns back to center from the left or right side. As I said, the right is no problem, but for the left, watch how slowly this moves back. So it does return, just not as strong. So when I change over that spring, it'll be interesting to see if that improves. Okay, and here are the 5 parts that I've ordered. And here's where I think they go. So this nylon bushing or cup goes in here. This rubber bushing with a metal sleeve in it goes here. The spring, pretty obvious, goes down here. And then this and this, I think, are both related to the same thing. I think they probably sit in together. And they go underneath here. To remove this, and where this goes down in there, I think is where that is. Now, the only one thing that concerns me is I can see that there is a bit of movement. If I go left or right there, there's a bit of movement within this pin, and I'm not sure if that little nylon bush there is replaceable or not. But there's definitely a little bit of movement there. question is, how do you get that spring out? And how do you get this arm out? Well, I figured it out. This bolt is accessible under the car to 17mm, and it goes through here. This is obviously hollow, so I should be able to remove it now. Yeah. So it goes under the car, through this housing, and through there. So I will be able to replace the spring now. Before I put on the new spring, I'm just gonna replace this, take off all the old grease and put new grease on. This is the grease I'm gonna be using. It's Honda Shinatsu silicone grease. I think to get this bolt back in, I have to untension that spring, and then I can tighten it on later on. There we go, that's better. I was about to start assembling everything back together and put this clip into the linkage here, and I realised I've lost the other clip. Can't find it anywhere. So I had to run up to Halfords and get a whole box of them, but anyway, I suppose it's no harm having some spares handy. Okay, it's all back together. New bush here, new spring here, new bush here, and new bushing underneath the selector itself. Time to put the gear knob back on. Before I do that, I just thought I'd check this return spring. Same problem. Seems to be gradually coming up. So either there's friction in the actual cables here, or else there's a spring on the gearbox end that controls that left to right movement. Moment of truth. Is there any less movement when it's in gear? Nope. So, was it worn out, or is that just the way these gearboxes are? Definitely no harm in doing it, but wasn't actually that bad after all. Oh well, you win some, you lose some. Sloan.